White flag raised. Off and running over 2.5 miles, the race and stay EBF Beginner's Chase. 14 fences to jump at its final demand. Wide of Wingmen, blue cap, all safely over the first. The two in front, a couple of lengths clear of Cattle de Tourelle. Lucky Lyrene on the inside as now as the other, followed by Butch Cassidy. Come Walk With Me, Winsome Loosome next, and then followed by Park That. And Western Walk, My Trump Card. And So They Tell Me. Fence 2 is the first of the ditches. Matching Strides, Final Demand, and Wingmen. 2 to 3 in front, and Western Walk has lost Sean O'Keefe there at that first ditch. As Wingmen edges ahead from Final Demand, a break of 3 lengths to Cattle de Tourelle. Butch Cassidy, Come Walk With Me, and Winsome Loosome on the inside as now as they are. And then Lucky Lyrene, and Park That next, followed by So They Tell Me and My Trump Card. Facing the first of the 3 fences in the straight. On the right, it's Wingmen. In the center is Final Demand, the pair wide apart. And then Butch Cassidy, Cattle de Tourelle, now is the hour. Coming down to fence number 4. On the left, it's Final Demand. On the right-hand side is Wingmen. Out in front of Cattle de Tourelle, Butch Cassidy, now is the hour. Come Walk With Me, Winsome Loosome, Lucky Lyrene, My Trump Card. Park That and So They Tell Me. Heading for the fence, that'll be the last fence next time. The race and stay EBF Beginner's Chase, 2.5 miles. Coming together, Final Demand and Wingmen. Final Demand forges on from Wingmen as they jump this fence in front of the stands. Over in third, Cattle de Tourelle, followed by Butch Cassidy, now is the hour, and Come Walk With Me, Winsome Loosome, Lucky Lyrene, Park That, My Trump Card, and So They Tell Me. Finishing next time, another 9 fences left to jump, and striding on by 2 lengths is Final Demand and Paul Townend. From Wingmen and Jack Kennedy, break of 4 lengths to Cattle de Tourelle and Brian Hayes, disputing third with Butch Cassidy and Darrow O'Keefe. And now's the hour. Come Walk With Me, Lucky Lyrene next, and Winsome Loosome and Park That, My Trump Card, and So They Tell Me. Little changes at the second of the ditches. Final Demand leads away by a couple of lengths. Wingmen, then Cattle de Tourelle. Butch Cassidy's next as they reach the halfway stage. Another 8 fences to go as they turn down into the back straight. Final Demand leads Wingmen, now 5 lengths to Cattle de Tourelle and Butch Cassidy alongside. Then now's the hour. Come Walk With Me next, and Lucky Lyrene and Winsome Loosome as they approach the fence directly across from the stands. 8 from home. Final Demand, the leader. From Wingmen, 2 lengths between them, followed by Cattle de Tourelle, Butch Cassidy. Come Walk With Me, and now is the hour. On to the second of 4 in the back straight. Final Demand pops at 2 in front of Wingmen. Continuing nicely cleared of Cattle de Tourelle, now is the hour. Butch Cassidy, Come Walk With Me, and Lucky Lyrene, then Park That, My Trump Card, Winsome Loosome, and struggling is So They Tell Me. Over the fence at the end of a circuit. 1 more left to jump in the back straight. It'll be 5 from the finish. And it's Final Demand and Wingmen. Keeping out by the far outside rail. They're clear from Cattle de Tourelle. Now is the hour. Butch Cassidy next. Last fence in the back straight. 5 from the finish. Final Demand and Wingmen still the leading pair. Followed after a gap, Cattle de Tourelle. Now is the hour. Butch Cassidy, Come Walk With Me, Lucky Lyrene next, and then Park That, My Trump Card. 4 more fences to jump as they make tracks to the last of the ditches. It's Final Demand by a length and a half to Wingmen, who's continuing to keep him honest. Cattle de Tourelle has taken closer order in third, now just a handful of lengths off the first 2. Then Butch Cassidy over the fence homeward bound. Much better in the air was Final Demand, extended the lead at 3 lengths over Wingmen. And then Cattle de Tourelle, followed by Now Is the Hour, Come Walk With Me, and Butch Cassidy. Turning in with 3 fences left to jump. It's Final Demand, lobbing along a couple of lengths in front of Wingmen, closed upon by Carl de Tourelle, Come Walk With Me, and making steady improvement is Parked That on the outside. Coming towards the third last fence, it's Final Demand, the leader. At this one, 3 from home, from Wingmen, who's almost back on terms. Followed then by Now Is the Hour Shaken Up, Come Walk With Me next, and then Carol de Tourelle, Parked That, and Butch Cassidy. 2 fences left to jump, and it's still the same 2 occupying the first 2 positions from the start. Final Demand and Wingman. At the second last, Final Demand from Wingman, who's not going away over on the far side. Out in front of Now Is the Hour, a bad mistake by my trump card, but Final Demand is in front and opening up, coming to the final fence. Final Demand is the leader at the last and over from Wingmen, who made a mistake, just about got to the landing side, but it is Final Demand. The real deal over hurdles is off to a winning start over fences, easily brushed aside. Wingmen in the end. Now is the hour in third.
Paul Townend's with us after Final Demand successful chase and debut. Paul, we could clearly see the smile coming across your face there as you went up to pass the line. Just how taken were you by that?
I enjoyed it a lot anyway, Gary, that's for sure. He covers a lot of ground. I thought it was just lobbing along in front, and he just measured the fences so well himself. He was just taking them in his stride. Went to sleep with me a little bit, I suppose, leaving the back straight and till up over the last ditch we turned in. But when Jack came to me, he got down and raced and jumped to second last really fast and was clever then to sort himself out with the last again. So his schooling had been good, but you don't know until you try.
Yeah, I mean, was Wingman the one you thought maybe might try and throw it down to you?
I thought so. Looking at the way he raced over hurdles, I thought he'd be the one that would be coming with me early anyway. But no, look, he's a very exciting horse, and hopefully we can keep all the wheels in the bus and everyone will have a good time.
Yeah, he looks the real deal, no question. So, of course, there's Copec de Border we're going to see tomorrow. I'd imagine that might be maybe a slightly different race for you to ride, but schooling sounds like it's gone very well, is it?
Yeah, touch wood, as I say, look, the schooling's been good, but you don't know until you get in the track. He's a lot to live up to after the spin I got off him anyway, but no, I'm excited about him. Look, I don't want to put the mockers on him, but he's been good at home. Yeah.
Great stuff. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary.
Final man, simply too good here. He's pulled well clear over that final fence to make a successful transition to chasing, justifying his very short price atop the market. It's a winner for Paul Townend and Willie Mullins. And what a weekend for owner Bryan Drew, part owner of this horse with Professor Caroline Tisdall. Paddy Power Gold Cup yesterday, and now this hugely exciting novice up and running for the new campaign.
Yeah, exciting he is, Gary. His jumping was very good for his debut effort over fences. Paul Townend jumped him out to the 4 and he rode him like the best horse in it. They went sedate enough fractions in the early part of the race, but altogether his jumping I thought was pretty good for a debutant. Wingman was the horse who was always up to the 4 alongside him as well, and I thought all in all his jumping was pretty good as well, Gary, albeit the last where Wingman made a bad mistake, but Final Demand, I think it stamped his authority on the race at that stage. If you were probably a favourite backer, I wonder would you have been getting anxious a little bit between the second last and the last, but Paul Townend was full of confidence and he knew he had plenty of horse left. You can just see Wingman slightly shifting to his right at his fences, which he has been seen to do that in the past at his hurdles as well, but for the size and shape this horse, he's always looked like he's going to turn into a beautiful, fantastic prospect over fences.
Yes, in terms of his jumping, Lisa, we pretty happy throughout the race on that score?
Yeah, I think you'd have to be. I thought he was pretty clean. I thought he had scope where he needed to, and he shortened up when he needed to as well. You can just see him, he met that on a nice stride. But look, Gary, this is probably the start of a good season for him. This is his easiest task so far this season. He's going to have to step up when he meets tougher company, but he's more than capable considering what he achieved last season, and it was probably more of a walk in the park for him.
Yes, indeed, as a son of walk in the park. Rather fitting today. He was nice and nimble over that fence down the back straight, and in the main he was pretty measured, I thought, on the way round. Wingman, I'm sure Camp will take plenty of positives from that run. He's just not quite at the same level as the winner, but there's no disgrace in that.
No, he's a horse that acquitted himself well at Grade 1 in Grade 1 company last year, but he was well held when he met Final Demand, obviously at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. And look, he gave Final Demand something of a race between the third last and the second last, Gary, and I think probably the winning margin is probably dramatised by the mistake of Wingman at the last, but there was no doubting that Final Demand had this race in full control when he was coming down over the second last and the last, albeit maybe at this stage you were probably wondering how much Paul Townend had left, but he wasn't concerned at all.
Maybe a few of those in behind that I'm sure will make their mark over fences in due course, although unlikely that any of them will be mixing it with the winner further down the line. You wouldn't have thought. Final Demand nice and clean over that final fence, whereas Wingman made the mistake and the winner coasting up the hill here at Navan. Of course, we're going to see Copec de Board all being well here tomorrow. Another of the Closutton big guns, but Final Demand doing pretty much everything that was expected of him this afternoon.
This is the mistake, I think, of Wingman at the last here as well. We just see Final Demand, who's clean and quick over it. Wingman obviously gets a bad mistake at the back of it, and Jack Hendy picks him up off the floor. But this is very, very impressive. He's a monster of a horse. He's a monster of a physical, and I think he's going to have a monster season ahead of him.
Yeah, and that Brown Advisory Novice Chase, for which he's a short price favourite, one would imagine will be the ultimate goal. Final Demand then bringing a smile to his jockey's face there once again with that successful chasing debut.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.